Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's talk about his recent visit to Bangkok, Thailand, which has just concluded. And currently, the Prime Minister is in Sri Lanka as he has begun with his three-day visit to the island nation. Remember, this is the first visit to the country since Sri Lanka plunged into financial crisis when India had extended financial assistance worth $4.5 billion. Prime Minister Modi is also the first foreign leader to be hosted by the incumbent Sri Lankan president. The visit is certainly significant as India is expected to ink about 7 pacts with Sri Lanka, and this could also include an agreement on defense cooperation, which could only further boost India's relations with the island nation when it comes to defense. Times Now is reporting from Colombo, where my colleague Varshni has taken us through what's expected as part of the Prime Minister's visit.
Right now, we are standing at the Indian Peacekeeping Force Memorial in Colombo in Sri Lanka. And tomorrow, after the agreements that are going to be signed and the deals that are going to be sealed, he will be visiting this memorial to pay honors, to pay his respects and homage to the lives lost when the Indian Peacekeeping Force was sent to Sri Lanka to ensure that, the civil war that was ongoing back in the 80s between the civil militants and the military groups in Sri Lanka came to a peace. And in fact, majorly the Indian Peacekeeping Force was sent to Sri Lanka by India to ensure that the militants are being disarmed and that there is peace being restored in the country of Sri Lanka. Though one cannot term that the IPKF was extremely successful, they can also speak about how unfortunately over thousands of lives were lost during this effort that was taken by India to ensure that there is peace being restored in Sri Lanka. Behind me are the names that have been etched in this monument about the lives that have been lost during the efforts that were taken by India with sending the Indian Peacekeeping Force to Sri Lanka. But in fact, what is also very important to see is that there has been multiple efforts by the country India to ensure that its neighbor country Sri Lanka, and it's more like a brother country Sri Lanka, has always been in the goodwill of how to ensure peace in the country of Sri Lanka.
So Times Network is there in Colombo in Sri Lanka tracking the live updates as far as Prime Minister's visit is concerned. Good morning, Varshni. As two sides are expected to finalize several agreements, the focus will be on the proposed Memorandum of Understanding, especially when it comes to defense cooperation, which will also be the first such agreement between the two countries.
Absolutely, yes, because though there are going to be talks based on a lot of important things, and particularly the bilateral trade, because India being Sri Lanka's #1 trade partner, that is something that would be definitely focused upon in today's meeting as well. But what is very important and is, grabbing a lot of attention is about the defense agreement that is getting signed today. And this agreement is about few important things that Sri Lanka is going to greatly benefit from, particularly the joint training that is going to happen between the Sri Lankan army and the Indian army. And there is also going to be a lot of supplies of equipment from India to Sri Lanka. There is also going to be a lot of joint exercises in training and in also service, particularly coming to the security, because India and Sri Lanka share a maritime border, which is very unique to these both countries when compared to the other neighbors of India. Therefore, there is going to be a lot of naval training and naval exercises that is going to happen together with India and Sri Lanka as well. So these are something that is very notable that is going to take place in today's meeting, and the agreement, the defense agreement that is going to get signed. And this is also something that Sri Lanka is going to greatly benefit from because of the number of people who will be brought to India to get trained, and then they will be sent back to Sri Lanka to serve in their military. So these are some things that is going to happen in the future. And we're also given to understand that there are a lot of discussions about infrastructure and development and joint projects that have been ongoing for the past couple of decades that are also going to happen in today's meeting, which will get implemented very soon. So it's definitely a very important meeting with the new president, new government of Sri Lanka that was formed recently, joining hands with the Indian government and ensuring that both the countries are able to take forward this relationship to a much better level.
All right. So Prime Minister's visit also coming at a time when Sri Lanka is showing signs of recovery from the massive economic crisis that it faced back in 2022, when India, being the first responder, had extended financial aid worth more than $4 billion. Thank you very much for the moment, Varshni. Keep tracking the updates today as far as Prime Minister's visit to Sri Lanka is concerned, but do not go any